Yo, what up, my guys? It's the boy Richie. We're back with another 6v6 Pokemon battle against the homie Robotnik off Discord. We had a pretty good battle. I'm going to try to go ahead and keep this intro short just because this battle is actually pretty long. So I wanted to go ahead and try to, not hold you guys too long on the intro. I'll explain our teams a little bit. As you guys can see, we're having an RU team battle. I have the Rotom Heat. I got a Quagsire who's just kind of to wall out physical attackers. I got the Gardevoir, Linoon on my team. I said those together just because I kind of ripped a page out of WeedleTwineedle's book and try to use those guys together. If you guys have ever watched his vids, he has a nice little combo with those two. Then I have a Mega Glalie on my team that I just kind of wanted to see what he would do. I have a Gligar on my team just because that boy is nice. Then looking at my opponent's team, he has a pretty cool team. He has the Mega Blastoise on his team. At least that's what I assumed it was at this team preview. Just because Mega Blastoise got, he was UU, but got, recently dropped down to the RU tier, which I kind of feel like, that's probably where he belongs. He has that nice little rock dragon thing on his team, which I don't know that thing's name, but he's really cool. He has a Golisopod. He has a Umbreon, he has Decidueye, and a Salazzle on his team as well, which looking at his team, I feel like the main threats on his team are probably the Blastoise and Salazzle, just because I don't really have just too many things for those, and those things can absolutely start killing my Pokemon. But we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. He chooses out his nice rock dragon thingy, and I'm just gonna go ahead and choose out my Rotom Heat, which was not a good matchup for me because this thing doesn't die to any electric attacks or fire moves. But he's gonna go ahead and use this first turn to get his Stealth Rocks up while I just go ahead and Volt Switch out of here. Now, one thing I noticed was that thing went before me, showing me that thing is Choice Scarf, because I don't believe that thing is naturally faster than a Rotom Heat, which if he had known that before, he probably should have just went for Head Smash, because I definitely would have dropped to that move. But I'm going to go ahead and swap out into my Gligar right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just use this turn to go ahead and follow suit and get my Stealth Rocks up, because I know his team does not appreciate Stealth Rocks just like my team doesn't. He has the Salazzle on his team that wouldn't appreciate those. Then he also has a Golisopod on his team that also doesn't like Stealth Rocks. So he's just going to go ahead and use this turn to just Mega up right here, get super bulky. Wants to probably hit my Gligar. I keep getting that mixed up. I'm sorry about that, guys. But I'm going to go ahead and U-turn out of here. I know he probably wants to hit me with like a Scald or an Ice Beam or something, and I feel like my guy would be too useful for that Salazzle when that decides to come out. But I'm going to go ahead and go into my Glalie, which isn't much of a check to this Blastoise at all, because I definitely will drop to this thing, especially if he has the Aura Sphere. But I'm just gonna go ahead and Mega Evolve right here. And like I said, I didn't really have too much to do to this Pokemon with Mega Glalie, so I just kind of opted to just trying to get as much damage as I could on this thing before my Glalie dropped, which as you guys can see at the end of this turn will not be much, because I'm going to hit him with the Earthquake and he's going to hit me with a Mega Launcher Aura Sphere, which my Big Freeze is just not going to be able to have like at all. He's just going to go ahead and drop right here. So unfortunately, Mega Glalie did not really get to do too much this battle, and we start off kind of bad. It's 5-6. And his Pokemon are still looking pretty nice on his side. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose out my Quagsire, which is kind of my second best option to handle that Blastoise. And I just went ahead and went for a Toxic right here. So I was going to go ahead and try to play the whole Toxic recover game until that Blastoise dropped. But his Golisopod is out here, not taking any Stealth Rack damage because he went for a Rapid Spin early. And yeah, at least this was pretty good. I would have rather got him burned, but it's kind of whatever. He's poisoned. It is what it is at this point. He's going to go ahead and use this first turn to get spikes up. I thought he would try to go ahead and go for a first impression, which is why I went for the recover this first turn. I was trying to gauge damage, because if that first impression would, knock me beyond half of my life, I did not want a Leech Life to, end the rest of it. I didn't want my Quagsire to die in 2 hits, so I wasn't sure what his attack was. He hits me with the Leech Life, and it's pretty comfortable damage. It's not a 2-hit KO, especially after I start stockpiling up. So my guy is at +1 defense, +1 special defense, and now this thing just absolutely can't handle me. I can recover up, and we can just Toxic Stall this thing until the emergency exit forces him out. So that's pretty nice for me. I know he's most likely going to swap out of here trying to preserve that thing, and that's exactly what happens. And he instead he chooses in his Robin Hood, which I probably should have expected, but I just went ahead and went for another recover just in case he did want to stay in here and play the whole little leech life toxic game or whatever to try to, you know, wear me down as much as he possibly could before emergency exit forces him out. But instead he chooses out this Robin Hood, and my guy, even though he's unaware and stockpiled up one stage of defense, I know a Leaf Blade is still, you know, enough to just absolutely body my guy, and my guy is just not trying to take any grass moves at all during this match. So I do have Rotom Heat who can, you know, take that just as much, you know, take that very good. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose him out. I'm not going to go for the overheat first turn. I'm going to go ahead and go for the defog because I don't want those spikes on the ground. My Linoon is Focus Sash, so I might need that at least until some of his, you know, speedy Pokemon like the Salazzle die out. But he's going to choose out this Pete, and now that I know that thing is Choice Scarfed, he knows it's Choice Scarfed, he knows it's faster than me, I know he's going for Blood this time. So he actually goes for the Head Smash. It's not even close to a 2-hit KO. Probably not even a 4-hit KO. Probably didn't even take off like 25% of my life. So I know this thing is most likely going to go ahead and swap out. I figured this Pokemon would most likely swap out into maybe the Robin Hood. So I was trying to catch him with like a nice little Scald Burn if that Pokemon wanted to come out. Which even if he did get burned, I still wouldn't leave my Quagsire in here because that four times damage, super effective to Quagsire. It's just going to be enough to kill him. I don't think there's any games where Quagsire is taking any kind of Leaf Blades from a Decidueye, so that's just not happening. He instead chose out his Golisopod, which I guess was kind of a nice play to him, especially if I would have went for the Toxic. But I'm just going to go ahead and go for Recover this first turn. Like I said, if you wanted to go for the first impression, I want my Quagsire to have full health so I can take, you know, Head Smashes and, you know, other attacks from other Pokemon if need be. But after that toxic damage, he's actually going to get swapped out to his emergency exit, and he's going to choose in his Adamantix, which was kind of weird because if I had like Earthquake or, you know, he knows I have Scald, and he knows that this Pokemon just can't handle that. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and swap out into my Gligar, because I feel like this is kind of a pretty good check to him. My Gligar is Eviolite and specially defensive, so he can take, you know, flamethrowers. He can take Sludge Bombs and all that from this Pokemon, but it looks like my opponent is running a pretty interesting set with his Salazzle. I'm not sure if that's pretty common, but as we've seen already, he has the Overheat, I believe. He has the Substitute. Then he has Toxic, which he tried to Toxic my Quagsire. I really don't blame him, but I just swapped out into my Gligar, which is Immunity and just not going to be Toxic at all. I don't blame him for going for that at all, but he's going to go ahead and disable my Earthquake, which was really bad for me, but I just went for Stealth Rocks this first turn, expecting him to switch out and not wanting to play the whole little Earthquake substitute game because I could have whittled that life down. Now, unfortunately for me, my only other physically attacking move is U-turn, so yeah, I know that wouldn't have been enough to break his sub, and luckily for me, he just swaps out anyway, and you know, he doesn't want to stay in here. Plus, I know he can't hurt me anymore, especially since I have Roost, so we could have just kind of stayed in there, just walling each other out. But you know, when it gets like that, one of the people have to make bold plays. But I'm just gonna go back into my Quags on deck while he shows, you know, he goes into his Gamera, his Blastoise, his Mega Blastoise, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this opportunity to go ahead and try to, I believe I tried to Scald, expecting the Robin Hood to come in, because if that thing came in, I wanted it to get burned. That Pokemon has priority, so my main focus at this point of the battle was to kill everything that was either fast or had priority that could be a problem for my Gardevoir when I try to get a nice little, you know, that nice little WeedleTwineedle plan set up. But he's going to go into his Golisopod, not wanting to take any more Scald from me. Also because he doesn't want his Robin Hood to come in here and take any Scalds. But he's going to come in, take that Scald really nicely. It's not going to hurt him at all. It can't get burned because he's already poisoned. I'm going to get this Leftovers recovery, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for, I believe, a oh, I guess I swapped out. I thought I went for another Scald, but I just went ahead and went into my Ragnarok because I felt like he was just going to go ahead and try to go for the Leech Life to get more HP back. So I remember I did get that play right, and I was just going to go ahead and use this play right here to go ahead and get some Stealth Rocks up, because I know after he takes this toxic damage, I know he won't be able to survive another one. If he wants to go for Leech Life, that's cool with me. I know I can survive an Aqua Jet from this thing, even though I'm not physical defensive like that. That Eviolite just kind of like fixes everything that you need. So I am just going to go ahead and get my Stealth Rocks back up, and I am feeling nice. I know this Blastoise is most likely coming in to get rid of my Stealth Rocks again, but hey, I'm just going to go ahead and put him up for switches and stuff, you know. But instead, my opponent go ahead, you know, he chooses out this Robin Hood. I fully expected this Pokemon to just go for a defog this first turn to get rid of the Stealth Rocks, but he instead goes for the Leaf Blade, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to live that damage after, because it is neutral, I believe. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to live, but as you guys can see, I lived on 4 HP, which was really, really good for me, because like I said, this Gligar is a very good check to that Salazzle. Especially because, you know, looking at his moveset, it looks like he doesn't have anything that can really, you know, hurt me like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and roost up again. And I got very, very scared at this point in the battle because he didn't go for the defog. He instead went for a Sword Dance. And I know I can live another Leaf Blade, but I can't. I absolutely can't stay in here and play this kind of game with this this Robin Hood. So this is very scary. I was kind of, you know, counting my losses at this point in the battle because I was like, I don't really have anything that can just, you know, switch into this Pokemon. I don't have anything that can just hurt him like that. I mean, I have my Rotom Heat that can take it down with an Overheat, but I didn't think he'd live after like a Sucker Punch from this Pokemon, but he instead hits me with, you know, a Shadow Sneak that, you know, +4 attack power and stab. I for sure thought I was dying, but my guy is just too bulky. I am max defense, max HP. I was very surprised that I was able to live that. I was very, very proud of my shiny Rotom, which I hatched recently. Like, that boy is legit AF. Like, I was really happy. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there because, yeah, I was happy about that. I like him. But he's going to go ahead and throw out his Salazzle and just kind of put salt in my wound, kill my Rotom Heat with an Overheat, which, I don't feel like was necessary. He probably should have just Toxic me. I feel like I would have died anyway. Or I probably wouldn't because I have Pain Split on my guy, but I don't know. He killed my fire Pokemon with the fire move. Like, come on, bro. But I'm going to go ahead and throw in my Gligar back out to just, you know, finish walling this thing. He's going to go for the substitute. And I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn. I figured he would actually try to swap out of here when my Gligar came out because he knows that he can't do anything to it, especially since I have the immunity. And also because after that Overheat, he really doesn't have anything that can just like hurt my Gligar like that. I just can't say Gligar for my life right now. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my Quacks on deck on out here, and I'm not swapping out because I figured he would swap out. I just kept feeling like he would swap out, but it's not. I should have realized because he's behind a substitute that he's just gonna stay back there and try to get a nice Toxic up on him. My Quacks on deck, which is the right play, while I just instead just go for a Scald right here to get rid of this substitute. So that was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, my guy Quacks on deck is poison though, which is not good, but I figure we've been doing so much swapping out that I will never really let that poison damage accumulate on my guy to where it will matter. Plus I have Recover on my guy, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stay in here. I believe I went for a Scald on this thing in case he wanted to try to play that game with me. I'm sorry, guys. But he's choosing back out his Umbreon. I actually didn't go for the Scald. I swapped back out into my Ragnarok because I was like, alright, if he wants to play this toxic game, I will just stay in here and we can just keep looking at each other, walling each other out. You know, he can disable my Earthquake or whatever, but it wouldn't matter in the long run. But instead, my Gligar is out here with this Umbreon. I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn on out of here, try to get a better matchup. I feel like this is, you know, at least kind of a safe spot for my Gardevoir to come out. I could come out, hit this thing with a nice little Moonblast. I forget if this Pokemon is really specially defensive or if he's really, you know, physically defensive, but it's just one of the Pokemon I didn't want to deal with at this point in the battle while he just goes for the Wish. After he went for the Wish, I pretty much knew what was coming out. I knew he'd probably choose out his Salazzle, but unfortunately for me, my only Psychic move is the Store Power, which even though his Pokemon is not at full HP after the Stealth Rocks, and my guy has like I figured he would not die to stored power, not a 20 powered stored power. Like, I have no stat raises on me, but I just went for the Calm Mind this first turn to try to get some stat boost up while he actually gets the wish, gets brought back up to full HP. Now he's gonna go ahead and get a nice little substitute. While I was making kind of some silly plays right here, I went for another Calm Mind, which I really it just really wasn't the play. It was obvious. I thought he might go for like an overheat or something. I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. I can't really justify going for another Calm Mind. I knew he would do this, and then I knew he could probably just go for like a disable or something. Maybe at that point he knew I didn't have a psychic move to hit him at that point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose back out my Gligar while he goes for a Toxic. It was definitely the right play for him, but anytime he chooses out this Animantix, my Gligar is just kind of going to be waiting for him. Just because it just walls him way too good with this set that he has. If he would have been a Salazzle that had like nasty plot, like this could have been like 100 times worse for me. But luckily for me, that's not the case. He hits my Gligar with an overheat while I just decide to go for an Earthquake right here. So I am going to go ahead and break that sub. And I know that he can go for a disable. So I believe I went for a Stealth Rock this turn, or maybe I went for another Earthquake. I'm not too sure, but I knew he couldn't stay in, because like I said, he can't do anything to my Gligar. If it comes down to a 1v1 with my Gligar versus his Salazzle, it's just not gonna, he's not gonna win that battle. He can keep me disabled all he wants, but I can just keep roosting up and all that. And since he doesn't have the nasty plot, my Gligar is just really not afraid of him. But he's actually just gonna go ahead and choose out this Umbreon while I went for Roost. To, you know, heal back up to show that Salazzle that he just can't do anything to me. But now we're in a weird place. He chooses out the Umbreon. I don't really want to go back out into my Gardevoir, so I'm just instead just gonna stay in here. And I went for another Earthquake while my opponent made a bad play. He went to his nice Pete, his Rock Dragon thingy. Can't really think of that Pokemon's name right now. I want to use him though, but he looks really cool. But unfortunately for my opponent, a Head Smash definitely isn't going to be enough to kill me, and I did get some really good Earthquake damage on that, on his Pete. So I know my opponent was really regretting that. I believe he sent me in the message where he was like, crap. He was like, GG. He was counting his losses at this point in the battle, but it was still kind of too early to tell. I believe we both still have like 4 Pokemon. This part in the battle was just kind of, we was kind of stuck at a point where we was just kind of stalling each other, playing it very safe, U-turns and, you know, Roost and Wishes and whatnot. But his Umbreon's back out here. I hit him with a nice little U-turn, get that super effective damage. I was just gonna go ahead and go into my Quags on deck. I didn't feel like this thing had any real offensive move that he could do to me at this point. Maybe he could, you know, maybe his offensive move was like Foul Play or something, but I'm not really too worried about that. And I figured since my guy's already poisoned, I was like, we can go ahead and get some poisons out here. So, you know, if he has the Synchronize ability, I'm already poisoned, so I'm not worried about nothing right now. So he's actually just going to go ahead and swap out, and that's expected. He's going to go back out into his Gamera, which maybe he thought I would go ahead and go for a Scald after he went for that Wish, expecting his Salazzle to come out. But luckily for me, I got that prediction right, and now his Blastoise is in here nice and poisoned. He is going to go ahead and get that Wish, but at least he is poisoned and going to get whittled down. I know Blastoise doesn't have, you know, anything that can really, you know, get any HP back. So this is really good for me, because this was still one of the issues for me. It still is a problem for me at this point in the battle. But my Quagsire is going to go ahead and take some poison damage, and he's just going to go ahead and withdraw his Gamera and go back out into his Umbreon. As you guys can see, at this point in the battle, his Umbreon is just kind of like carrying his team on his back, trying to get Wishes up, trying to get all his Pokemon back to, you know, a good amount of HP. But after I get the Scald, I am going to get a nice little Scald burn on him. Synchronize isn't going to work because I'm already poisoned, bro. And this is just this is pretty good for me. After he gets his leftovers recovery, he is going to go ahead and take some burn damage. I'm going to take some poison damage. And this was good because we are at a point in this battle where he can't really wish up and do anything. He can't wish and protect, so his Umbreon will drop right here no matter what. He's gonna just last ditch effort, use Heal Bell to get rid of his burn and also get rid of the poison on his Blastoise. So I knew he had the Heal Bell. I think most Umbreons that I do battle have the Heal Bell on them, so it was kind of expected, but I was still just glad that I was able to knock that thing out. Shiny Umbreon looks really cool, by the way. But I am able to knock out one of his walls. Now we are down to 3-4, and we can probably get some more traction going now that that Pokemon is out. But he's gonna go ahead and send back out this Gamera, who wants to, you know, go ahead and get some revenge for his buddy Umbreon dying, and he's gonna hit me with a clean Dark Pulse, which I wasn't sure if I'd be able to live, but after realizing that that thing had like the Mega Launcher ability, I knew my guy was just gonna drop. I'm not really specially defensive like that, but this does open up some room for me to go ahead and get this nice Weedle play going. After I take that the spikes or whatever, which was really good for me because I know I'm faster than this Blastoise, and I know he is probably gonna just want to go ahead and hit me with an Aura Sphere, fearing like a belly drum for me. But my Focus Sash got broken by the spikes, and after that I'm able to get the Simple Beam off, changing his ability, and my guy is just gonna drop, which this is perfect for me because now my Gardevoir gets to come out here and trace the Simple ability. If you guys don't know what the Simple ability does, a Pokemon that has the ability Simple, anytime his stats raise, it raises by double what it would actually raise. For instance, I'm using Calm Mind right here. It would normally raise my special attack and my special defense up one stage, but because I am Simple ability, they are both pretty much doubling right now, going up 2 stages. So that's very good for me. My opponent realized what I was doing after I did that, and he called me on the Weedle play, but I was like, yo man, I really like this stuff, and you know, it's cool to switch it up. And my guy is just in here looking nice with that nice special attacks and special defense to where I am comfortable enough to take whatever any of his Pokemon want to do to me. Now he has his Salazzle out here who ate that Moonblast up pretty good, and he's just gonna go for a substitute right here while I just go ahead and go for the Store Power, because now I am at a comfortable enough, you know, I'm comfortable with my stat raises to where I can use this move and I feel like it will kill him. So I am going to go ahead and break that sub with the Store Power, and he's going to go ahead and get some Black Sludge recovery, and he's just going to kind of go for a disable right here so that I can't use my Store Power anymore, which kind of sucks because, you know, that's the whole point of me getting all these stat raises. But it's whatever, I can still shoot really strong powered Moonblast at him, and even though it's not very effective, after I get the, you know, after my Calm Mind pretty much doubled my special attack stat, he won't be able to live another Moonblast. Now my opponent went ahead and went for that last ditch effort overheat. If it was a critical hit, that would have really sucked for me, but unfortunately for him it wasn't, and his Salazzle is just going to go ahead and drop here. So we got one of those issues out the way. Now he's going to choose his Pete, and I remember this thing has been on my mind since the beginning of the battle, and I am fully aware that this Pokemon is scarfed and faster than my Gardevoir, so I'm just going to go ahead and endure up right here, and he's going to go ahead and hit me with the Head Smash, which is going to be a crit. My Gardevoir absolutely wasn't going to survive that no matter what happened, but luckily I got that endure on my guy, so I am surviving, and I'm just going to pop my Satellite Berry, which is going to raise my speed, and because of Simple, my speed is pretty much doubled, and even though he's Choice Scarfed, he's not going to be able to be faster than me, and he's going to take that Moonblast right to the face, leaving his Gamera to, you know, 1v2 against my Gligar and my Gardevoir, which since I know this Pokemon doesn't get any priority moves, maybe he gets Aqua Jet, but nobody's running Aqua Jet on a Blastoise. But after that last turn, my Store Power was you know, it wasn't disabled anymore, and I was able to finish this battle out with the Store Power. So this battle was kind of like an OD to, you know, Weedle. He's a pretty cool YouTuber. He's one of my faves, but I wanted to go ahead and use this combo for the longest. I really have been enjoying using this team specifically because I really like all these Pokemon anyway, but it was a really, really good battle. If he would have been able to kill my Gardevoir, it would have been really bad for me because my Gligar definitely would not have been able to 1v1 his Gamera, his Blastoise, but that was the end of the battle. Very good. Me and him had a few battles, and all of them are very good. I believe this guy makes YouTube videos. I'll try to find his YouTube channel and try to link it in there because, I mean, he deserves it. He's really good and very entertaining. But if you guys are still watching at this point, thank you. I'm sorry if I seem kind of like out of it right now. I just recorded this entire battle before I actually recorded this one, and it was like a pretty good take, but I realized my audio was off the whole time, so it kind of was frustrating, but it's whatever. I got it up now. I'm about to go ahead and post this. If you guys are still watching at this point, thank you. If you want to get a battle in, go ahead and just, you know, hit me up anyway. Hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Twitter. It's really whatever. If you guys want to play anything, just hit me up. But thank you guys. I appreciate every view. I appreciate everything. Thank you. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.